Let's talk about resilient restaurant business strategies that you could use to supersize and grow your business. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. And I learned early on in both my corporate and my business ownership entrepreneurial careers, because I've had both simultaneously for a long time, over a quarter century, that paying attention to and looking at what was working in different industries than the one I was actually in and applying them to my current industry was a really, really powerful strategy. If you've never done this, if you've never used it, I challenge you today to start looking outside your current business and your current industry for processes and systems and procedures and methods and automations and tactics and strategies that you can apply in your business and in your industry right now. Because most everybody else is not doing this. And one of the fastest ways to be successful at anything is to be willing to do what other people aren't doing or aren't willing to do. And sometimes that involves digging in, doing your homework, and looking around and applying things and testing them and tweaking them in your business and in your industry. Actually, I was going to say, if you want to really supersize and grow your business, it's almost imperative that you do that. So I like to look at the restaurant industry because it is a very dynamic, ever-changing, ever-growing industry. It's very impacted by popularity and trends and politics and everything else. Supply chains are always a challenge. Labor forces are a challenge for that industry, just like many other industries. So we can seek answers in other industries that we're just missing because we have a type of groupthink. It's like when you're in a certain profession, you tend to think like everyone else in that profession, but you don't think like someone in another profession. You can do this internally inside your business and in a corporation if you have a corporate job, or you can do this outside. I've done it in both the corporate world as well as the entrepreneurial small business to big business world. But resiliency is probably just like consistency, an absolute core value to make a part of your repertoire, your brand, etc. So what are some ways that the restaurant business is resilient that we can learn from? They are, many of them, in the process of joining the political thought of reducing carbon footprint. Now, I'm not going to tell you how I actually feel about the whole carbon footprint thing because that's my business and no one else's. But I do agree with some of the things that businesses like restaurants and the restaurant industry and the food industry are doing that further and make the world a better place, right? I'm all about making the world a better place. If you want to call it climate change or carbon footprint reduction, you call it whatever you want. I'm going to call it making the world a better place. And we can do that by local sourcing, finding and doing things like farm to table for a restaurant. Well, what are things that you can do like that in your industry? Is there a local manufacturer that could actually manufacture parts of your product or service or something for you or do something for you versus going to another country to have that done? Making decisions that are based on what's best for the world, not necessarily what is the least expensive. Lots of businesses, and I've been guilty of this as well, tend to get bids on something and go with the lowest bid, not looking at and ensuring that all of the bids are apples to apples and that everybody's included the same things in their proposal and in their bids. We want to optimize our energy use. And I say I grew up in manufacturing for the most part. I've always loved manufacturing. And some of the things that I talk about and the strategies that I talk about, manufacturing just does. We document processes and systems. We share information. Okay, not all businesses. We don't share from with competitors, but within our business, we're pretty good at capturing the knowledge and then sharing that knowledge and teaching people and training people on how to apply it and continuously improve, how to improve quality of everything we do, all of our processes and systems, not just the quality of our end product, because that is one little teeny piece of the whole quality function. So local ingredients, optimize energy. Okay, so that's what I was talking about. We optimize energy use. We reduce resources. We find faster, easier, more efficient, more effective ways of doing everything on a continuous basis. We have systems in place that we automatically audit and check and review on a regular basis to make sure that we're continually improving. We reduce waste whenever possible. I from my corporate background and even before, have a automatic waste reduction mentality, just like I have an automatic process systems and efficiency mentality. It's just kind of ingrained in who I am now. So when I look at something or at a system, I just see the places where the holes are and the leaks are, or the bottlenecks are. And you can do that too, just through practice, right? Look around your company with a new set of eyes. One of my favorite tricks is to go through a business backwards. Not many people do that. And I can't remember where I learned it. I must have learned it from some smart person a long, long time ago, but I applied it. I did it a few times. And then I realized that it's an incredibly powerful way to change our perspective and find the holes and find the leaks in a system or in a process or in a piece of equipment, etc. So go through your processes backwards, and that will show you what you're missing. Listen to your customers and their quality complaints and results, and any complaints or feedback that they have for you, because that is, again, one of the fastest, easiest ways to give people what they want is ask them what they want. We want to, of course, and that's a way to build brand loyalty. We want to be building our brand. And so whenever crazy things happen in the world, like COVID, or I was talking about emergency action plans yesterday and crisis leadership, when something bad happens to our business or our area, there's a loyal group of people that will pull behind us and help us get back on our feet. So we want to align with our ideal customers' values. Their core values will generally be the same as our core values, because that's how we get loyal brand members and people that are loyal to our brand, including us, including our employees. We want to attract millennials and Gen Zs to our restaurants. Now, I'm obviously a baby boomer, and I have a couple millennial children. I don't really know anything about Gen Z, not the target, not the audience that I personally work with. But if you've got a restaurant business, a local area restaurant business, that's going to be really important to you. So you have to ask yourself, are millennials and Gen Z, is that my target audience? And do I need to find ways to attract them? That's one of the things we can learn from another industry. What are some of the things that restaurants are doing now to attract these clientele, these groups of people? Or could you align strategically and join forces with one of the restaurants that are working really well and have them be an influencer for you, or do some kind of a marketing or a joint venture with them to reach that audience? Some of the things that the restaurant industry is specifically doing that I like to be resilient and to go with the times and the changing times that we live in and they need to operate in, is they have to pay attention to trends. Farm to table is a good trend. It capitalizes on the local supply as well as managing the supply chain. So people actually know what they're getting from farm to table when they're eating at a farm to table type organization. Locally sourced products, again, especially with restaurants and places, it's so much more economical to get locally sourced products than it is to bring them in from China or bring them in from South America. It just makes sense. Again, waste reduction as well. I don't know, restaurants, and maybe they're still there. And I'm sure there are some that cater to this and do this, but restaurants tend to have absolutely gargantuan serving sizes. And that's an area that they can test and work on to improve so that there isn't so much waste. Because in the restaurant industry, guess what? There is a ton of waste. So any process, anything you can do to reduce that waste. Same in the food industry as a whole. There are huge quantities of waste that people can't even imagine. I worked for a industrial bakery, and we had literally $500,000 worth of waste every single month because the products weren't perfect or up to our quality standards. What do you do with all those things? And you'd think it'd be really easy to give it away to charity, but I'll tell you, I spent 3 years working on setting up systems with charities to utilize the products that weren't perfect. And that was actually harder than my regular job was at that organization. I was the vice president of quality, and it was harder to give away products and services in a timely manner and get the logistics done than it was to do the whole rest of my job. And that's saying a lot. And then finally, we want to find ways to be energy efficient. And guess what? All of our businesses and all of us in our lives and homes should be doing that, right? Oh, I use the should word. Because we all want to make the world a better place. All right, that's all I've got today. Love to know, what are you doing to make sure that your business is resilient no matter what comes up? It's a crazy year this year. Hopefully we'll never see a crazy year like COVID year again, but it's possible, right? So let's make sure that we've got systems and plans and processes in place, that we're learning from other industries, and that we're doing what we can do to not only survive, but thrive no matter what happens. All right, have an awesome day. I will be with you tomorrow with another interesting strategy that you could apply to supersizing and growing your business right now. Have a great day.